Hi and welcome to Outsource Explosion. Online you've got Mandy Allen, that's me, and also Keith is online and he's going to be doing some of the presentation as well. So we would like to welcome you to this part of the training, and this is the Fiverr Outsourcing section, and we're going to talk about how you can outsource the tasks on your project using the $5 system that Fiverr provides. So for this part of the presentation, we actually outsourced the basic version of the PDF that you can read, and we're supporting that with this video. So what we're going to do is talk briefly about Fiverr, and Keith is going to show you some techniques that he uses on Fiverr to get the best gigs that he can find. So we use Fiverr for a number of different jobs. Quite a lot of writing jobs are done by people on Fiverr, and then we would look through them and edit them to make them what we want them to be. Sometimes they come back without too much editing being needed, and sometimes they come back with quite a bit being needed, so you have to watch for that. But we'll explain a bit more of that later on. And obviously when you use Fiverr, all the payments are taken by PayPal, so you need to have a PayPal account in order to use Fiverr. Now Fiverr is a $5 site, that's the whole principle behind it, but we're actually recording this from the United Kingdom, and so when we go onto Fiverr we don't get the prices in dollars, we get them in pounds sterling. So you just have to watch out for that. It looks like it's going to be a slightly different price, but actually it is still a fiver, $5. So what you need to do now is make sure you've got a pen and paper so you can write anything down that you need to take note of while Keith is leading you through these videos. And we're going to start off by going over to Fiverr, and we're just going to have a quick look at the main page. So Keith, if you want to just run us through the main page that we will see as we come onto Fiverr.
Right, okay, so you've just got your categories along the top here, but what I would normally do is search use the search bar. I'll just give an example here of how you can save money. So if you just typed in articles, when you want an article, you'll just get a mixture of all sorts of different things here. There'll be various prices. This is $3.98 is, as Mandy was saying, it's $5. $7.95 is $10. So you get a mixture here, but what I like to do is, obviously you can get some people to write one, some people to write two, some people will actually charge $10 for one. But the best one I found is type in 5 articles and see if somebody will do 5 for $5. Well, you've got somebody will do 5 for $80 there. Here's one. Somebody will write 5 400-word articles for $5. So we'll just go in and have a look at that. So obviously that's quite a good deal. What you want to do is obviously have a quick look down here to see what they do, but also how many orders are in the queue. Well, there's 2, so that means she's getting some orders, but there's not too many, which would slow you down. We'll go to her profile. She's delivered within the next 3 days. She answers in an hour. That's all good. But what I'm mainly here for is to look at the feedback. So she had feedback 7 days, 9 days, 10 days ago. She's had 186, and she's got 4.75 out of 5 stars. So overall, that looks like quite a good seller. I'm just going to go back because I noticed down here it actually tells you the gigs that I have bought. So this is actually the one I use. If this guy's is still around when you check, because occasionally he pauses his gig. This is one I've used for hundreds of articles, and it's 5 articles for $300. So obviously that's one I can recommend, and it takes 4 days to deliver. you'll probably see my feedback down here. There we are. Yesterday I got some more articles off him. So that's a couple of tips how to save money, or also how to check whether somebody's likely to be good or not by looking at their feedback, how quickly they do orders, how many in the queue, and how recently they've done one, because as I said, some people do disappear and there's not much point in ordering from somebody that hasn't done an order within the last month, because you might end up just having to get a refund. Okay, so I think that covers like the general introduction and a couple of tips.
Yeah, thanks for that, Keith. That's actually really helpful to know about the people who kind of come on and off Fiverr as well, because as you say, you might end up putting in an order and you don't get any response, and that can be really frustrating, especially if you're working to a deadline and you've actually put something into your plan that you're going to get this article or these articles back within a certain amount of time. It can be quite frustrating sitting there and not hearing anything and not knowing what's going on. So a really great tip to actually look for the orders that have been completed and seeing when the last ones were made and completed. So there's a number of other things that that we do actually use Fiverr for. We use Fiverr for graphics as well. It's one of the things that we find is very good to actually look for on Fiverr. So do you want to just have a quick look for something to do with graphics for us, Keith? You've got your microphone muted, I think.
Yeah, I was muted. So
Okay.
Okay, we'll cut that bit, start again here. Okay, so I type in graphics and obviously, £159. Okay, you can see there's a bit of a difference in price here, so you do have to be a bit careful on Fiverr. I'm really not. I think I'm going to have a look at that just to see why it's $159 actually. It doesn't actually seem to be all that much different to some of the other gigs. So now what I wanted to mention that I missed out before is there's a sort option here, relevance, which now that depending on what you're looking for, relevance could be important because you can come up with searches that have nothing to do with what you want. Newest arrivals, I don't know why you would want to use that, because if somebody's really new, they're not going to have any feedback to check, but the middle option is the one I would normally use, average customer review, because that's really the best way of checking people. So, oops, I've gone a bit fast there. There's obviously a ton of different people here. So, there you can see, like, this one is logos. There'll be people do banners. So, graphics is really not specific enough. So, we might want a Facebook timeline graphic. You probably want to be as specific as you can on this one, because there's so many results. So here we can see the difference in prices again. That's that would be $15. This one's $5. And again, I mean, there's one at now how much would that be? That's got to be more than $30, hasn't it? So I'm going to go in. I'm going to go in with the $5 one because there's plenty of these. 40 orders in queue. That's reasonable. 2-day delivery is quite good. He'll do 4 revisions. That's another thing I didn't mention before. The 4 revisions is good. So if you don't like what they do, you can just go back and you ask them to change it. Now, particularly with graphics, I didn't do this on the previous example, but with graphics, you'll want to have a look through the images they upload. I suppose these are reasonable. They're only $5, so I think potentially I would give him a try. It gives you a list of things down here. Oh, this is another thing. He's online. This little button down here tells you he's online, so at least you know this is somebody that's quite active. As I did before, I would have a look at his profile quickly. You didn't spend too long on this, but oh wow, he's got 1,258 reviews, 5 stars. I think I might save this one because it does look quite good actually. Yeah, look at how recently he's done orders, 2 yesterday, 2 the day before. And yeah, so what we'll do with that one is, he's got a few different gigs here. Let's have a look. So he's got a logo, a header, splash screen. What I'll do is I'll actually I'll favourite that one so I can find you again, because it does look like it's quite reasonable. Now let's think of another graphic we might want to order. Now this is probably going a bit too specialised, but we did get our affiliate banners from here. I actually only typed in banner when I was looking, so let's see what it says. Yeah, 5 size is a good affiliate web. I mean, that's not really what I was looking for, but I will show banner ads. Okay, probably try this one. Again, just look at the examples. I mean, they're not particularly spectacular, but for $5, you're probably not. Oh, okay, they do 6 for $5, so that is quite reasonable. So I don't know what you think of those graphics, Mandy. I think they're kind of mediocre, aren't they?
Yeah, there's not much colour to them, is there?
No, this one's maybe not too bad. I mean, they don't stand out particularly. I mean, if you wanted some, I don't know, if you wanted a few banners to post in Facebook groups to get people to your group or your site, I mean, it's $5 for 6 banners. It's quite cheap. I probably wouldn't go with that one. I'd probably just keep looking for something a bit more. You can just look at the one they've put as their main banner, and if that's this is something else. This is another tip. Couldn't find what you need, get free quotes. You can just click and post a job, and I mean, I've done this and got something like 50 replies in a day. So you save money, because you could say, I want 12 different banners, can you give me a price? So rather than paying $5 for each, you might get somebody say, I'll do them for $20. So you'll save money, and you'll get what you really wanted. And you can post combinations. I mean, you can say, I'm trying to think of a good example here, but in setting up websites is a good example. I'll say I want a theme installed and some plugins, and then I want an article pasted into the homepage, and that's something very specific. But you probably wouldn't find a gig that actually did all that. So again, you can post specific things. We did this for the setup of Outsource Explosion. I just posted a job on setting up the products in JVZoo and in Instamember, our members area, and I got a lot of people applied for that too. So that's just another tip while we're on the graphics, but that's something you can do for other items too. So I think that's it for the graphics anyway, so we'll move on to the next part of the presentation.
Great. Well, now we're going to take a quick look at social bookmarking, and Keith actually uses 2 different methods for social bookmarking. One of them is to use Fiverr, and one of them is to use another site completely. So maybe you'd just like to run us through that, Keith.
Yeah, actually that's okay. Let's type in social bookmarks. I oh, we're going to come on to backlinks later actually, aren't we? But these are going to overlap a bit. So what have we got here? I'll try and pick one that's 10,000. There's a couple of different options here. If somebody's put 1,000, then they're obviously not going to do them manually, they're going to use software. So if you use software, it's not going to be the same quality, it's going to be spun text. If there's text links in it, I would tend to go for something like this where it says 50 do follow social bookmarks. It doesn't say it's manual, but hopefully with it only being 50 it would be. It's not very clear, and I just noticed it's how much is that? I think that's $25, £20. So that's not, I don't think that's a very good price for 50. So I'm going to put in manual social
Would
bookmarks.
this be one of, I was going to say, would this be one of the times when you might put in for a request for a job and actually put you want the manual, and then you're going to get people applying who only do that?
Yeah, I think I might do if I didn't find. I mean, this says it's 200. That seems a lot to manually bookmark. Although it is quick, isn't it? It's something like you go to a site and click like on. But I'll have a look at what they said anyway. Because I actually tend to use the same people over and over again, so these are all ones I've probably not looked at before. So $5. I managed to submit to 200, 7 days. It's not very quick, but okay. Actually, I'm going to show something here, because if you click proceed to order here, it would charge you $15. It's just popped up a message. Does that show on the screen? Yeah. Somebody's actually just doing an order for me and it's popped up live, but never mind. So if you want to order the basic version, what you do is you go to these three options here and you select the one you want. So it's come up with the correct amount here. Now you'll notice it does have the price in dollars here, but it says $6. So this is another tip. It adds $1 on if you only order 1 gig. So I always order 4 because it adds 5%. So if you order 1 gig, it costs $6. If you order 2, it costs 11. 3 costs 16. 4 costs 21. So anything from 4 gigs upwards, you're paying 25 cents extra per gig. Anything underneath, you're paying more extra. So if you can, I would order 4. What was I going to do? So add it to cart. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to show the cart here, just to show you how that works. So 2 gigs is $11, 3 gigs is 16, 4 gigs is 21. Now if you go up another one, it'll be 26.25 because it is only charging you 25 cents a gig from that point. So that's just another tip where you can save a few dollars. I do that a lot. So I hardly ever order 1 gig. Now what were we doing? Social bookmarking. I've actually lost where I was now, so I'm going to go back in. I think Mandy and me were discussing this before the webinar. You actually get a different result every time you look. So here's another one, 100. This one is 15. So I'd probably go with either the 100 or the 200 for this job. And the other option, which we were talking about before, is there's a few sites like Only Wired where it'll submit to multiple sites for you. So all you need to do is set up some social media accounts. So what I would do for that is get somebody on Fiverr to set up all your accounts, because there's going to be a lot. It'll take a lot of time. So you look for account setups. I will help set up accounts to start work from. Social media account setup. There you go. There's one that would work. 8 reviews. Oh, it's 15. £15. It's not a very good site actually. I'll set up one social media account. Yeah, that's not a very good one. So you want somebody to set up however many social media accounts you need to join, which could be something like 50. So I think this is a case where you would possibly post a request, because I don't seem to be able to find the one. This might do it actually. Notice I used that trick again of typing in 50 account setups. So I've narrowed it down and found the one I want. So it is $10, so it's a bit more than I was expecting, but I think that's probably okay. They'll manually create 50. Manually create your accounts on 50 social media sites. Yeah, that is what we want. Okay, I'll set them up and verify them. And he'll even add a profile, date of birth, locations, website URL. So he's doing a bit extra, so for $10 that's probably okay. And then you would use these accounts in a service like Only Wired, and you just bookmark. You just go in and post one URL yourself, and it would go to all these accounts that have been set up for you. So that's another option for social bookmarking. So I think we've covered that section. So what's next?
And saves quite a lot of time as well, by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
So now we're going to go on to social networking, and it's how you can use Fiverr to outsource your social networking, such as Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
Right. Okay. Now this is not something I use a lot. I've used it for Instagram. So Instagram account management. I would tend not to use it for Facebook because it's kind of personal unless you had a second account. You've got them to set up a second account. Obviously you don't want somebody else posting comments for you in your own name. So social professionally manage your Instagram account. So there's plenty of options here for Instagram. Now Instagram I have had accounts created for me, just in like a niche name and somebody managing it. Oh wow, this has got 22 orders in the queue. So I would think carefully about using that one because it sounds like they're very busy, but also they're probably quite good because you've got all these positive feedbacks down here. And I think if I read it right, it says it manages your account for 7 days for $5. Here we are, 7-day campaign, daily management, 400 to 700, daily engagement. So that sounds quite reasonable. Okay, so that's just an example. I've just picked Instagram because that's the one I've used myself. But you can look at things like Twitter and other social media as well if you want. Okay, so I think
there's such a lot out there.
Sorry?
There's such a lot of social media accounts you can get out there.
Yeah, I mean you could do Pinterest, couldn't you?
Yeah.
I think I
Okay,
spelled it wrong.
so yeah, it's kind of overlapping a little bit as you said, but backlinks and SEO is the next thing.
Yeah,
this will help you with your rank. It will help you rank your sites. And this is how Keith uses Fiverr.
Yeah, no, I do use quite a lot of backlinks, bunch of kicks on here, and again, there's a lot of choice here. Now, I typed in backlinks. Now, this is not going to give us the result we're looking for, just to show that that isn't narrow enough. Even if I go by customer review, you're going to get a lot. I'm not sure how many. I don't think Fiverr tells you how many. It gives you a rough idea. There's 10 pages or more. So, I mean, there's literally hundreds. There's hundreds going to come up, so you need to narrow that down. So again, I would type in manual backlinks. And again, it's reset, so I'll go in customer review order. 6 manual backlinks, that's not very good. 35, 50. Again, you can see there's a huge difference here. You've got 50 for $5 and you've got 6 for $10. So, I mean, you really need to look carefully at this. You've got 75 down here as well. Now, obviously, because I've done this a lot, I know that I can type a number in here and what's going to come up. So, pretty much the maximum is about 100 that's going to be any good. And it's not come up with any this time, I think. Relevance. I mean, I have some sellers I use all the time that'll do 100, but they're not actually showing up. So you've got 50 or 80 manual live local citations. That's not even what I was looking for. I'm going to put in do follow backlinks to narrow it down again. That just means it's not a it's not got a no follow setting, which means Google will follow the backlink. If it's no follow, it doesn't really count them. Oh, so here we are. We've narrowed it down. We've got somebody offering 80 here. So I'm going to go into that one. Well, there's no orders in queue, but 97 reviews. It's pretty good. Just going to flip down to his feedback. 9 days ago. It's a bit old, but just have a look at what we've got. 80 PL3 to 7 do follow. Back blog comments. This is the type of one I would use. Handmade comments. Now I spelled comments wrong, but I mean, this is probably going to be reasonable. Let's just have a look. So all I'm going to do here is look at his profile. He did the delivery 6 days ago. He's got quite a few gigs on, so he got a review 2 days ago. Oh, he's got 2,907 reviews. So this guy sounds quite good. I'm just going to go backwards. And I'm going to favourite that, so I'm actually storing gigs up while we're doing the webinar that I'm going to use at some point as well. I think, well, that's kind of covered manual do follow backlinks. I wouldn't actually use the other types. I'll just show some here that I probably wouldn't want to use. Here we are, 30,000 high authority backlinks. I mean, this is probably going to be really poor quality. If you're dumping 30,000 backlinks somewhere, it's just going to end up probably in spam on somebody's blog and not get approved. 30 days of drip feeding. Yeah, I wouldn't really want to use one of these. But obviously, it's everybody's choice which type they use. This is just the one I prefer. Do follow backlinks from blogs. Okay, so I think that covers backlinks.
Lovely. And one of the things we didn't cover earlier with the graphics section was actually videos. I've actually used Fiverr myself for getting videos created. And some of them have been really good, to be honest.
There's one actually I got for Outsource Explosion, which is a video intro where you get an effect. And there's loads of choice on this again. I think if we... Oh, I was going to say, I think if... Well... I better pause that, but yeah, you can get all sorts of things here. One I used a lot is whiteboard videos. I get them created and they'll stick music in the background for you, and then I just upload them to YouTube and rank them for affiliate products. Well, some of these are quite expensive, aren't they? I got mine for $5, but the person I used isn't on Fiverr anymore. That I used a lot, so it looks like here we are. Yeah, these are okay. Obviously, you've got to. This is another thing you've got to check. How many minutes do you get for $5? Really, with every different type of job you're looking at, say articles, there's the length of the articles, how many you get. With videos, there's how many minutes you get, whether they'll how much text I'll put in your video. Here we are, 30 seconds, 40 words. It's not actually very much to get for $5. I used to get about 2 minutes for $5. So you're looking at, which one did I click on? Was it, I think this is another one, isn't it? 150 words. I don't know how many minutes you get for this. 150 words is okay. It doesn't tell you the length, does it, on there? Probably, oh, that's another tip we actually didn't mention yet, I think, is I would tend to always message the person, especially if they hadn't been online for a while, and just check they can do the job. Or you might have to ask them for a quote, because if you want a 5-minute video, you'd have to ask. So you just go, contact me. Oh, that one happens to be online as well. That's a good sign. So you just message them. They'll probably message straight back and give you a price. So we just have another. I'll just have a quick look. There's another one, $5. What do you get? No voiceover. You would normally have to send them a script anyway. Let's just have a look down there.
Which presumably is something else you could outsource.
Yeah, if it's like a video about something in the niche, you could outsource an article or a script. Yeah. If it's something specific, then you might have to write it yourself. I think mine were reviews, so that's another thing I outsource actually, as well as articles. I'll outsource product reviews, so you could type something like ClickBank review. I've moved on a bit from video, but we're looking for the script for the video now, so there's not many people here. I'm just looking for somebody I recognise. 400-word ClickBank review, so you could get that done and then send it to somebody to turn into a video. Yeah. Or the 5 gigs get one free, so if you want a lot, you could get a few off him. I'm actually surprised there that it didn't come up with a gig I used. There's only 4 gigs. There's one by a top-level seller that I thought would have come up. Oh, maybe CB review. No. You sometimes have to change your search terms a bit just to find what you want. So yeah, that's right. Here we go. You can get a testimonial. This is quite handy actually. These people do face-to-camera testimonial videos. 30-second testimonial or product review. I wouldn't get a testimonial video done because you need to get proper testimonials, but product reviews is okay. Let's see if they actually. Well, they need a script as well. But okay, so there's all sorts of different videos. You can get face to camera. You can get whiteboard. You can get video effects. Again, there's just so many different things you can get on here. So I think that's covered videos anyway.
Yeah, lovely. So that's basically a lot about how you can use Fiverr to initially contact people and get your gigs and your tasks that you want for your product sorted out. So now we look at how we can then make these into long-term virtual assistants. So perhaps you just want to talk us through that a bit, Keith.
Yeah, actually, I thought I'd just type in virtual assistant while we were talking about it. But now obviously, there's a couple of different ways of looking at it. You can look for an actual virtual assistant that will do all sorts of different jobs, or if you're doing, say, a lot of article writing, you can then focus on one particular person, it is what I did, or one or two anyway. So you just build up a relationship with them. You can ask them if they'll do like 4 gigs for the price of 3 once you've used them a while, and just say, well, I'm going to keep using you. Can you give me your best deal? And they'll probably do them quick. I mean, I've ordered gigs from somebody that said they took 3 days and he'd do them in 1 day, because I just used them so many times. And actually, one of the ones is I use for copywriting like 100 and odd times. We've actually used him to write some of the copy in Outsource Explosion, and that was a custom order. So once you built up a relationship with somebody, you can get them to do bigger jobs, and it's obviously a lot easier than keep looking for new ones all the time. So then you can start using long term. I've tried a few actual virtual assistant jobs to do general jobs, and some of them are actually quite good. You need to be a bit careful because some of them will only do like change a Word document into a PDF or things like that. So, this one sounds like quite a lot to me. We've got £43. That's got to be over $50. So I'm wondering how many hours they do for that. That seems second-hand VA. I think you can message them and ask what they do, but that one just seems a bit vague. So I'm gonna try another one. Obviously, one of the main things you want here is how many hours they do and what jobs they do. The other thing you can type in here, you can type in 3 hours virtual assistant, because the one I use does 3 hours for $5. And immediately it's come up with a 3 hour, 4 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour. So you can see that specific search with a number in has given me the results I'm looking for. I mean, that does 5 hours, but it's $47, which is quite a bit for like generic work. So I'm going to click on one of the 4 hour ones, one ordering queue, English and Swahili. It's a bit low level-ish really. Research, email handling. It depends what you want, but it could be okay. But what I've done is I have actually gone for somebody that did fairly basic jobs, and I've given them simple ones to start with, and then I've said, well, could you actually help me set up my database? And I just recorded a video and sent it to him, and he was able to do it. A couple of questions back, and then after that I went on and got him to install to create an account in cPanel and install WordPress, and he's actually doing those jobs for me now just from a geek that said he did web research and document editing. So you can get people to go a bit further once you've worked with them for a while. So that's if you can keep somebody going. 3 hours, $5. Oh, it's not $5, it's $10, but obviously that's okay. I tend to think more about how long it would take me to do it, and if it would take me 2 hours, and even an hour, just paying them $5 is not a problem, is it? Even if something would take me an hour, I still pay him for 3 hours. I just pay him $5 for 3 hours. I don't think it'll take him that long, but I'm sure he'll be happy to do that, and he'll build a long-term relationship again.
Yeah, and obviously ordering through Fiverr, it's fairly protected, but as we said before, not to get into a situation where they're asking you to send money in advance, because that's really a no-no.
Yeah, and that's against the rules on Fiverr, of course, anyway. You're not allowed to work off Fiverr. But yeah, I mean, this is... it might not be quite as good as a proper long-term assistant because you're just booking a gig and then another gig, and at some point they might disappear. But the system I use is, as I mentioned, I'm recording a video, so I can give that video to somebody else and then they'll be able to do the task. So whatever you do, create a Word document with instructions or create a video if it's a bit more complex, and then if you lose one assistant you can give it to another one.
Yeah.
I would probably recommend, if you have a lot of work, I would get two anyway. Any job you're getting done, I would get two people, because if one backs in, you've still got one left.
Yeah, yeah. And of course, you can, no matter what you ask them to do, if it's not one of their gigs, they can tailor make a gig for you. So if they say, well, actually, I can't do it for $5, but I'll do it for $8, they can tailor make a gig so that you can pay the appropriate amount, can't they?
Yeah, I mean, we did that for our sales copy. It was actually, I mean, you can order multiple gigs. Let's see how many you can get down here. I mean, I think I've ordered 10 at least, but yeah, you can get a custom offer because it might not be for a multiple of 5 anyway.
Mm.
So yeah.
And one of the great things about Fiverr is once you've got a relationship with someone, you can actually talk to them much more easily about even lowering their prices, doing you a little bit more for a little bit less money, or so it doesn't always cost quite as much as it would if you were going in fresh and you were a new client for them.
Yeah, and I'll just check this one again. I mean, yeah, this one's online again, so I always find when I message people, they answer really quick. And obviously it's all stored on Fiverr, so you can go back and have a look at who you got to do what job and order them again. It's all it's quite a good system. It's like a central control panel for outsourcing your business, really.
Yeah.
So we've covered that. I think we've actually covered virtually everything, haven't we now?
Yeah, I think that's just about all that we had in the Fiverr section for the product. So I hope that has all been very informative for you. And if you have got any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. You can either put in a ticket or you can pose a question in the Facebook group. So we hope to speak to you very soon. Thanks for watching.